What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today a little bit more Guilty Gear. We've been playing this patch for what now? A couple of weeks, I think, 2-ish weeks. So I wanted to talk about the biggest winners of the patch. So before I actually start, I do want to mention how much I like the direction of the patches we've had so far. If you've played other Arxis games, you definitely know what I'm talking about. This is like its own topic, but Arxis patches have been, let's say, a little worse than random before in previous games that I played. So this direction of giving characters stuff no matter what, and then like maybe tweaking some things that seem a little bit too strong or don't have a lot of counterplay, I really do like it. And the thing about this patch specifically is that is two big things for me. So one is they're actually not afraid to take risks and give characters cool new tools. It seemed like in the previous patch they were really playing it safe, but admittedly it was a minor patch. Two is actually one for the boomers. So it's starting to seem that like you can pick combos more for like what you're comfortable with. So someone like me, I tend to pick like stable stuff, like stuff I know is going to work in the situation, even if it may not be the absolute best possible combo. But now with like more error options, some characters got you special cancel options or things they couldn't do before because of floats or things like that, or maybe things like canceling certain special moves and other certain special moves that you may be able to really push your execution a little bit and get a little bit more return if you want, and that is pretty important in my opinion. So my first pick is going to be Nagoryuki. So Nagoryuki pretty much agreed on to be basically a top tier character and a very strong character, and I don't really feel like they took away anything meaningful from him, and he got one really important tool. I know there's more than one thing they gave him, but the clone I think is the biggest change that impacts this game. So what did they do to this move? So not only does it have more range, so he could use it from full screen. Before he could only do it from about here, which is still pretty far, but he's not a very mobile character. A lot of the things about Nagoryuki exploding towards you involves him already being around at this range. From this range, he's got the Fukio forward step. He's got, of course, the move that everyone memed for the past two patches, the Beyblade. And he just has generally large normals. So if we level him up a little bit, now his 5H will reach from that range. But even though he has all those tools, he can't run at all. I'm trying my best. This dash button just doesn't work when you play him. And his jump is slower. And his jump is kind of high. And he can't air dash. So despite him being so strong in these type of ranges, normal characters could get out of the way. Even though you're threatening negative penalty at this point, you could get out of the way and go to a spot where you could zone him comfortably and he had to work his way in. So now he has full screen threat. So where a Beyblade would not work, you would have to be maybe around here. Now he has a response from here as well. He was already a pretty complete character, so this like completes him and rounds him out even more. So number two for me is Kai. So Kai got two pretty important changes that kind of work really well together. So one is that Stun Edge has less recovery. So in this game, like many modern fighting games, they don't want zoning to be too strong. Zoning is like one of those things that really are just pretty annoying for new people. I mean, pretty annoying for people who play the game in general, but like there have definitely been games that I've talked about it in this channel where like the best character, or at least the best easy character, like the easy top tier, is a zoner, and it ruins the game for a lot of people. And a lot of modern fighting games are trying to like have this balance of making projectiles like easier to deal with. So what they decided to do with this game is give Stun Edge a lot of recovery, but what ended up happening is that every Kai player felt like just doing the move was death. Like if they whiffed the move ever, you're dead. So they made it so this move had less recovery. It makes it much more likely that at certain positions of the screen, you won't feel too threatened by an opponent approaching, or you may be able to recover in time. Of course, it's kind of on you. If the opponent really reads your timing, of course, there's still a big chance that they could get over your projectile and hit you with a counter hit. It's just harder than it used to be, so you can use this as a poke in more matches, which is one of the things that you're supposed to use Stun Edge for. This works in tandem with Shock State now, because now in Shock State, everything does way more chip damage than before. So they basically continue to make Shock State more rewarding and this makes him play his classic neutral game a little bit easier. Kai's an all-rounder type character, and this type of character, even though it looks like they don't have like a lot of sauce, like a lot of tricky, powerful things, this kind of character is usually pretty strong in Arx's games, so it was kind of a surprise to see him not so strong when the final version of the game came out. So each of these little changes that don't look like big changes do add up. So I'm looking forward to see what Kai does. So the next one is going to be Ram Lethal. Some of you call her Ram Lethal. That's a little bit weird, but anyway. So Ram Lethal has a couple of changes that I think are pretty strong. So one is a pretty subtle one, and the other one is a really clear one. So let's start with the really obvious one. So the obvious one is the change to the Rekka. So the Rekka now, you can cancel the dash here into a special move now, which people generally throw the sword. There's a few guessing games with this, and it also applies to the second hit as well. So she has really good ways to threaten with this move now, and she's incredibly strong with meter with it, even stronger than she used to be. Her return of the second hit of this delayed is extremely high. So this pairs up a little bit with the more subtle buff of what they did to her Far Slash. So between this being safer now than the previous batch and this having a little bit less knockback than before, there are situations where you can make her pokes a little bit more safer. So one thing that's kind of tough about playing Ram, like a situation that's stressful for her, is that when she does use these moves, this and this, they are not only unsafe on block, but they're also super unsafe on hit as well. So having stuff to help her stay safer in her already really strong neutral game makes her both more stable in neutral, even though she was already pretty good in neutral, and then also helps her vary her offense a little bit in the corner. It helps people be a little bit more creative, what type of tricks they do, and more. And the last big winner of this patch is my own character, Amelia, right? Oh man, I bet you weren't expecting to see this. I bet you were like, who? LK set us up for how many months talking about how good his character is, and now he's gonna secretly downplay her? No, cannot do it. She did get some really nice changes that I think stabilizes her as a character. And even though she has a couple of problem matchups still, in my opinion, I think just things are easier for her in general. So if you're playing this character, you're kind of eating right now. So for sure now, the two biggest changes that affect her the most, in my opinion, are one is a system change, and it's, you wouldn't think it at the start, but once you play like one game with her, you'll see the effect of it. And the other one is a change specific to her. So while the way they change counter hits in the air affects everybody in the game, it affects Amelia a lot because her main jump in is jump heavy. And what would happen before is you would hit jump heavy against somebody, and you generally had to go into this 2K2D. If you don't know a lot about the character fighting the character, when she does 2K2D from a long range, you can't really get over them. So I gotta do a little training mode magic to do this. Put him in all guard. So even though you saw her go over at this range, this is never ever a cross up. Okay, not never, but it's extremely unlikely, like 80% chance that that's not a cross up when you see her kind of barely make it over the opponent like that. So even if you hit the opponent out of something, which is the main use of using the air dash like this, like to me this is a poke. Like this is how you can deal with some mid-screen moves that may be kind of hard to deal with if you read them. Your return wouldn't be that high. So similarly too, if you hit someone in the air with jump heavy, so usually this would happen with moves like Leo's sweep and stuff. I'm going to use a move here that looks kind of like the OJH as far as where you go when you get hit. So you see how they just kind of like go away. So with JP, I would be able to get a little baby something, but like with jump heavy, you basically couldn't do anything on that hit. So you feel the impact of the jump heavy counter hit really quickly. So this makes it so that she can convert off one of her most important buttons much more consistently into good situations. And then there is Mirage. So not only did they make it so this move is not counter hit anymore, so I have Kai doing 2S, I just get punished. No matter when I do this, I just get punished. So this encourages you to do it a little bit more because the damage potential for being wrong is much lower compared to before. She also has access to combo routing that she did not have access to before, and new situations that she did not have access to before and you get to do it more often than before. So for example, in the previous version, you would do this sometimes. This is okay, but the follow-up situation is not that great, to the point that some players, myself included, would forego going from the disc, and they would do some type of air dash left right. Now you get a better positioning here by being much closer, and you can set a disc there that is a little bit trickier than the old one where all you could do is safe jump straight up. And if you wanted to, you could do a combo as well. From here, honestly, the world is yours based on what you want to do. Alright, so let me know what you guys think. You might have found it interesting that I didn't mention any losers, but every character got stuff, even if they got things taken away or weakened. So, I don't really feel like at the moment anyone straight up lost really badly. And even the characters that some people are like, man, like they really screwed up our character right now. They ended up either feeling kind of the same, at least from playing against them and like comparing to the changes, or they got something new to make up for the thing that got taken away. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.